Welcome everyone. Today we'll talk about individuals and governments in this short video. So, what is government? It is basically an organization formed to exercise authority over the actions of the person who live together in a society and to provide financial essential services. This is exactly what government is all about. Talking about political institutions are rules and generally accepted procedure that evolve for determining what government does and how government outlays are financed per se. Allow me to give you the examples of political institution as in majority rule, as in representative government, representative governments representing the population of a particular area, perhaps. So the allocation between private and government resources. The privates are all about food, housing, cars, and clothing, something for individual consumption. Allow me to give you the examples of government institutions thereby. Government institution is all about national defenses, public schools, police, etc., etc. Again, this is not only for public consumption but general public consumption overall, not individual consumption per se. Now, given a figure of production possibilities frontier, now look on what we are doing. On the x-axis, I am mapping the private goods and services per year, which is for individual public consumption, did I say, and government goods and services per year on the y-axis. And if you look into it, you will find a lot many activities that are coming around here. There would be government goods, which generally the maximum people would be looking for it is X1. For government goods 2, X2, as limited peoples are going to go around it. What are the limited peoples availing it? Let's say the government explorations of the space. Now, this is for the general betterment of the humanity, but perhaps for the society. But as of today, it is generally targeted or benefiting very few scientific community people. The general public, when things gets improved, will be impacted or will be improved, will be executed or enjoyed by the general public, let's say few centuries from today. So what are we looking into it? Non-marketing rationing, prices and willingness to pay those prices are not applicable to such goods as national defense. Remember, prices and willingness to pay those prices are not applicable to goods such as national defense. Absolutely, yes, national defense is sacrosanct. If the nation doesn't exist, probably you are going to pay heavy prices and you are going to pay prices with your life, with your dignity, with everything that has been associated and defines you. So pure market economy, virtually all goods, all services are supplied for non-profit private firms. We are talking about a pure market. It's an oligopoly market. It's every goods has a replaceable goods available at a replaceable price available at a so that's pure market economy. We're talking about supply and demand determined prices. That's the mixed economy and politics. Now allow me to give you what is mixed economy. Mixed economy is the government supplies goods and services. Not only government, but probably privates too, or should I say the government also regulates the private economy activities. It cannot be sold beyond this prices. So you giving limiting the price, maximum price, retail prices per se. What does this mean? That means it is putting a stop in making profits for the private institutions. So government expenditure is usually approximately 25% to 50% of the GDPs. Approximately 25% to 50% of the GDP is government expenses. Government taxes are at least 25% of the national income. At least 25% of the national income. Remember, political institution and compulsory financing is what we are talking about as far as mixed economy is concerned. Now, now this is a circular flow. If you look into it, the firms and the household, and there's a government that is regulating the market. Now, the firms are producing goods, which is outputs from the inputs that is coming around it. Now, inputs have been given by the household, as in resources, as in feedbacks, as everything, as money, and outputs are also consumed by the household. And this is a circular thing that goes around and round and round. Now, in between the government, what the government gets it, government gets income support, subsidy, taxes, charges from the household. The government services have been provided. The firms also get the subsidies, taxes, fees, charges, and the government services from the household. What is the government services? People might be asking. Let's say the tax break that the firm is giving. There's some sort of subsidy as far as providing electricity, infrastructure, roads, seaports are been given. So that's what government services is all about. It government expenses in the US. Let me give it to you. Government purchase of land, labor, and capital is what the expenses consist of primarily. Government transfers payment for welfare, for social security for, let's say, unemployment, social security for old age, social security for medical benefits. Giving you the growth of government expenditure, I'm just giving it as an example for the US government so that you can extrapolate it to your government also for wherever you accessing this particular video from. Way back in 1930s, what I'm trying to do it is, yes, there's a GDP, there's a federal government, state government, local government, provincial government, total government. These are the fragment. But I wanted my audiences to see is from 1930 it was 10% of the GDP to 1999 it is 30%. See what has happened. It's been changing and it's changed over a period of approximately 69 years and it has become 300 times. International comparison, allow me to give you the international comparison. Look, if US government was at 30%, right? Denmark was giving a whooping 53%, France a whooping 50%, Germany 46%, United Kingdom approximately 40%, Japan approximately 38%, US is 30%, as I've stated around here. So figure, now this is the total government expenditure which is happening over a 60 period times. Now this is what we are looking at. You look how it has changed erratically. Structure of federal government expenditures, purchase of goods and services, transfer of payment, grant in aids to state and local government, net interest paid thereby. Now, what are we looking as far as taxes? Percentage of total federal expenditures transfer payable is 42.97%. This is the total transfer that has been paid. Purchases is approximately 27%. Interest is approximately 15% of the capital that you go around. Grants and so state local is approximately 13%. Others is approximately 2%. Now, these are what we are talking about, the federal expenses. And this is, I'm giving you somewhere on the corner 24, 25 years back, what has happened with the US government. And this is the published data. The structure of the state and local government expenses in US. We're talking about where the government is spending. It is spending on education. It is spending in civil society for building. It is spending on transportation. Now, people might say, what is civil society and transportation? Transportation is your airport, your roads, your seaports, your trains, transporting civil society, maintaining the law and order of civil society, the police, the judicial system. Then we have the education, legislative and education, judicials. We are talking about the income security. We are talking about the health and hospital. We are talking about the recreational and cultural activities per se. And this is where the government is looking into it. Taxes are nothing but what has been coming from the corporate taxes and individual income taxes. We have the payroll to for the taxes, the excise department putting some certain taxes, the custom department of import and export are putting some levying some taxes, and this is basically the income of the government. Now, implication of graying India, the aging of the population. Now, this means that you have to pay more of social security to the old people where they are not economically productive. Medicare is again one of the issues that needs to be taken into. The medical health has to be subsidized, subsidies has to be extended. The people have not been able to afford for the medical interventions and the Medicaid. So we have Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. How much government is enough? Now the question is, how much of government is enough? Is this maximum government, minimum governance, or maximum governance, minimum government? Is an important one in any society. It is a trade-off between public goods and private goods. When the government gets bigger, it becomes the expenses of less private consumption. With this, I come to an end of this video. Thank you for watching the same.